Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LA probate expert, and I regularly interview other professionals in the probate field, whether it be real estate agents or attorneys or vendors, to help us be more productive and get some stories of success and tips on how we can work better and be more effective. And today we kind of have a 2-for-1. We have Alecia Daniel Hall. Now her last name has a hyphen. There's two parts to that, but there's really two parts to her business. I think it's really interesting. I think you'll find that interesting. She's both an attorney and a real estate agent, and happens to be a colleague of mine at eXp Realty, and happens to reside in my favorite state, South Florida. So, Alecia, welcome to the call today.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy
So
to be here.
Thank you. So, just a little background. Where did you grow up, and then how did you get into the practice of law and real estate?
So I'm actually from the Northeast, like most people here in South Florida. I am a transplant. I was born in the South Bronx. I grew up in North Jersey, and I moved down to South Florida 12 years ago. So I'm actually licensed to practice in New York, New Jersey, and Florida. But primarily now I focus on the state of Florida because that's where I've been for this decade or so.
Okay, so you're in the borough of Florida from New York. You say you're licensed as an attorney in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and then
Correct.
As a real estate agent, were you licensed?
I'm licensed in Florida as a real estate agent.
Though the nice part about eXp is we're a national company, so it really makes it easy, I'm sure, to work with
It does.
colleagues in New York and New Jersey when it's appropriate.
Yes, it does.
So how'd you get into? Were you a lawyer first, or were you a realtor first?
I've actually been an attorney for 17 years now. Most of my career has been focused on real estate in some capacity. I have, when I first started practicing, it was in '05. So we were at the height of the crazy market. And so I used to represent a national bank, and I did all of their closings in the state of Florida for their refinance transactions. And I was a busy bee. And then we know what happened in the '08-ish time period.
No, we don't know what happened, actually.
Something happened in real estate.
Something happened, but we don't know what happened.
It was pretty intense. And I continued doing some closings. It was nothing like, what we had done before. But in 2010, March 1st, 2010, I got in my car and I relocated to South Florida, and there were no jobs doing what I had experienced doing, which was real estate closings and, refinances and all that stuff. And so I kind of had to rebrand, and I flipped over to the other side. I became a default attorney. So I represented creditors in bankruptcy actions and foreclosure actions. I did that for, yeah, I know, it happened.
Went to the dark side of the forest.
I did that for 10 years. I did that for 10 years.
Wow.
And then there was a blip in 2020 where I needed a change. I really wanted to challenge myself and learn something new. And so I ended up practicing what's called first party property. It's litigation. And what we did was we sued insurance companies when they denied, delayed, or underpaid claims related to real estate damage to someone's home or a business, but it was all real estate focused. And at that time, I loved what I was doing. I didn't really like where I was doing it, the firm, the atmosphere. And it was also right when COVID happened. And so I had a moment of reflection where I decided, okay, I know that real estate is something, it's what I've been doing. It's what I know. Even when I've tried to leave it, I always end up back in real estate. So I decided that at that point, it was August 2020, I quit my job and I launched my law firm. And now I practice estate planning, probate primarily. And then, as we mentioned, I'm also a realtor. And I've been a licensed realtor since 2018. And that started when I'm now in my third property here in Florida. And I have to admit, I didn't have the best interactions with the agents that I'd worked with. And so I ended up deciding, you know what, let me take this exam. And ironically, the agent that I purchased my current home with is the agent whose team I ended up joining, because she was the one that she was phenomenal at what she did. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, thinking about doing this. And she said, well, if you do it, I'd be happy to mentor you and you can join my team. And we moved to eXp. It's almost a year. I'd say it's probably 10 months now since we joined. We all moved as a team over to eXp. So.
Wow. How exciting. So what percentage of your daily activities is as an attorney? What percentage of daily activities is as a real estate agent?
So I like to say it's 50-50. And, it really, I don't track it, honestly. It just kind of happens. a good bulk of my real estate transactions do come out of my probate cases, because very often you have situations where the family members who are the beneficiaries don't actually want to keep the property. They want to sell it. They maybe
Right.
can't afford to keep the property.
Right.
And so they have the benefit of getting a 2-for-1 with me, because I
Right.
can also assist them and walk them through the process of both selling while still in probate, rather than waiting until the probate is complete.
Makes
And
sense.
then
If
I
they know,
also,
like, and trust you, why wouldn't they not use you for real estate
exactly,
as well?
exactly. Yeah, and it also happens because I do estate planning, and especially when you're dealing with the older generation, a lot of times they've amassed, multiple pieces of real estate, and they may want to downsize and just consolidate to, instead of having 4 properties, they may want to just
Right.
have one, because it
Right.
does become difficult to maintain and manage. And so
Right.
I can help them with that. So
Nice.
it just kind of happens. And I say it's 50-50. I do have, I might have a month here with no new real estate transactions and all legal. And then I might have another month where it's the split, the opposite. So,
So what do you do? I'm sure you have, clients that follow you and refer to you, but as far as new business development, do you do new business development as an attorney or as a realtor, or both? And what do you do to generate new business?
I am on social media. I'm on TikTok. I am on YouTube, Facebook. I'm at Lil Bit of Realty, LILBITOFREALTY, across all social media platforms. And right now, when I first started with social media and when I initially launched, I was doing them separately. I was doing real estate stuff here, and I was doing estate planning and probate stuff on the other side. And I still have multiple business pages, one for each. But I've recently transitioned, and now I really focus more heavily on educating people about the importance of estate planning
Right.
and when probate is needed and why probate is needed. And I walk them through it. And that has actually worked for me as far as generating business. And I'm
Nice.
also a member of the Pompano Beach Chamber of Commerce, and I run 2 meetup groups and a book club.
Are your meetup groups live or online now? And
So yeah, I do. It's one in person and one on one virtual. That way I can, allow my members to really be able to join and at their convenience that way.
nice. So you're pretty busy.
Yes, of course. You have
And
to be
personally,
busy.
married, single?
Married, that's the hyphenated. I
Uh-huh. I
am
figured
married.
that. And
Yeah.
kids?
No children. No
Okay.
children.
So you're an attorney and a realtor, and you're in meetups, and you're in a book club, and you're married, but no kids yet. No kids.
No kids. I don't know
Well,
where I fit
busy.
the
I can
time for
see why no kids.
that.
I can imagine why. I'm tired just listening to all this. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put on your attorney hat for a little bit. You must
Okay.
have other realtors, not knowing maybe that your real estate agent approach you, right? Because
Mhm.
they're real estate agents who market based on cases or based on they see you as an attorney and don't put all that together. So what do you give a little advice to, real estate agents who are looking to build business with attorneys, maybe not with you because you're going to handle it
Mhm.
yourself, but imagine, how do you get marketed and approached effectively, and how do you get marketed and approached that's ineffective? And what would you advise for a real estate agent looking to go deeper into business as far as getting referrals from an attorney?
So I'm probably kind of in hybrid. It's a little difficult for me because I am a hybrid. I will tell you that mass random emails are not productive at all, because I do get a lot of emails. Every time I file a new probate, I will get multiple emails from realtors who are interested in buying my client's property.
I'm
Those do
curious,
not get anywhere with me.
how many do you think you get?
I'll get 5 to 10 per probate case, and
Okay.
I will get them at the beginning of the case. But I
Right.
also know once my personal representatives are appointed, they also will flood the PRs with correspondence, because I know this because my clients will reach out to me and say, I don't
Right.
know how this person got my information, but I
Mm,
want to sell it with you, and I want you to know I didn't give it to them. So
right.
I know they receive them as well.
Right.
Um, for me, phone call, reach out to me via social media, where I always am, slide into my DMs, is actually more effective than sending emails, because I get so many emails, and I am also a little bit of OCD person, and I just delete, delete, delete. I'm not even going to pay attention to them, honestly.
Right.
Because we get so much spam email as it is.
Sure.
Um, and I've had, what normally happens is when they reach out to me and ask me, I'm honest. I tell them, look, I'm also an agent, and I let them know if my clients are willing to sell.
Right.
They're already signed to me, or if they're not, then I say, hey, I will let them know that you are an agent who might be interested. Because at the end of the day, I just want my clients to be happy.
Right.
whoever they choose. And I've also had clients come to me for the probate and they already have an agent, which is
Right.
perfectly fine. I
Right.
just make sure that I loop that agent in so they know, where we are in the probate case in the process. Um, but that's pretty much in a nutshell how I get approached. And I highly recommend not to email attorneys. We really get enough emails each day. And so that's not effective. Reach out to us at events. We are, at different events. I would also recommend popping up if you can go to a local bar association event or
Right.
even hosting
Right.
a sponsoring a bar association event. There
Right.
are, remember, we have state bar associations, but we also have county bar associations.
Right.
And they're always looking for sponsorship for different events, whether it's, one of our networking dinners at a local restaurant. That would be a great way to meet attorneys if you're interested in getting in and meeting up with other attorneys who you
Right.
might be able to, build a relationship with.
Okay, so email's ineffective.
Yes.
Bar association events effective. I've done those.
Yes.
Do you get mail, postcards, letters?
I do not get any mailers. Now, I'm pretty sure my clients do, but I do not.
I'm sure your clients do. I'm
Yeah,
sure they do.
I'm pretty
Do you
sure they
get
do.
real estate agents in the area who maybe pop by your office to try to meet you?
I have a home office. So if they
Okay.
pop by my office, they're going to the post office, not my
Okay.
home.
Okay.
So that's not, I don't know if they're going there. I
Okay.
wouldn't know.
Okay.
But I've never had a phone call from someone who said they did pop by the office and they only find the post office. So I haven't had that happen yet.
Okay. Can you share, and I don't want to get too proprietary here, but just to share, because I do interview a lot of attorneys, for business development as an attorney for the probate business, I know you said you do social media. Do you do
Mhm.
paid advertising as well? Or is it just more education and your current
So
network?
yes, I do paid advertising on social media only. So I will sometimes run ads on Facebook, and I will also I'm newer to YouTube for advertising, and so far I'm actually enjoying that more. It's more user friendly. I do all of my marketing myself, so I find that YouTube is more user friendly.
Mm.
Um, so that's pretty much how I do get that out. But I also try to, every quarter I do a free estate planning seminar with a financial planner. He's actually licensed in Florida and Texas, and we do that by Zoom. And
Nice.
then I personally will do, and we try to do that on Saturday mornings. And I personally will sometimes I was doing them monthly, but that's been a little bit too much for me. But I also do a free estate planning virtual webinar. And I've done it with a few of the local towns here in South Florida in
Mhm.
conjunction with some of their departments. There are different departments that are focused on community development. And
Mm.
it's free and it's virtual. And I give them the basics of estate planning. It touches on probate, but more so just to explain to them what is included in the probate estate so that they have a
Right.
better understanding. And I also talk about when probate is needed, which goes hand in hand with what's included in the probate estate. And from that, I have been able to generate both contacts as well as clients. I have had other estate planning attorneys participate and join in some of my some of my seminars, which is perfectly fine. They usually reach out in advance to
Mm.
introduce themselves and ask if it's allowed because they see
Mm.
the ad.
Right.
And I'm perfectly fine with that because, especially if they're from other states, it's a great way for me to network and also
Yeah.
build my referral network. So it's
Yeah.
really worked out for me.
Yeah, I think estate planning is really for real estate agents. Now you're an attorney, but I say for real estate agents, the number one way to build your business, if you have a client database, is connect with an estate planning attorney and host
Mhm.
events related to estate planning, whether it be general, the need for a plan or avoiding probate, or specific. I have a
Mhm.
attorney locally who does, let's say, how to create trust for your pets, right? It doesn't really do much for me personally. I think it's a little silly, but I also appreciate that for many
Mhm.
people, it's really important. And if it's important to them,
Exactly.
it's their prerogative. And so, so I think those niches also are another opportunity to demonstrate your expertise and to reach out to people and offer solutions to the problem. So
Right.
that's how we get paid. Well, great. So, look, I appreciate you being able to share both from the attorney perspective and from the real estate perspective. So, just to kind of wrap up a little bit, what advice would you give a real estate agent who maybe is, doing business and wants to get involved in probate? Maybe add that as a lead generation leg to their. I'm sure you get asked this because you're part of a team, and But what do you recommend for them who wanted to add maybe probate as part of a leg to their business? Maybe they're already established as an agent. They know how to sell houses. They know how to list houses, but they don't maybe have the niche involved or the marketing involved. What would you recommend to them?
Well, I know that there is a certification out there for probate specialists. I don't know the exact title of it. I do recommend that you learn about probate from,
Mm,
that it's a different world. And I recommend that they learn it before they start saying, this is something I'm going to do and I'm going
right,
to advertise as. And I
right,
also know that if you have a certification tied to your name, that goes a long way with credibility for your clients. So I would say
right,
get that first. And then, yeah, you definitely are going to have to build your network, reach out to attorneys in person, go to the different events like I mentioned before.
right,
Um, quite not quite a few, but I know some attorneys are starting to use social media a little bit more.
yeah,
Slide into their DMs and introduce yourselves. We are
right.
human and we
No
like,
way.
we yeah.
No, really?
We are human and we're
Mind blown.
most of us are
Wow.
approachable. So reach out to us and let us know how we can build something together because
Wow.
it works both ways. And like I said, I have had agents who know me, especially from EXP, who know that I'm also a realtor. And I make sure it's very clear. I'm not going to poach your client. I will just handle the probate aspect and you can keep your commission. So it's certainly something that I highly recommend. Reach out to attorneys in your area that are probate attorneys.
So as an attorney, just to recap again, you're licensed in practice law in Florida as well as New Jersey, New York.
Correct.
And so if someone wanted to get a hold of you to reach out to you, you said your social media, but let me repeat that here again. Your social
Sure, my
medias are,
social, it's at Little Bit of Realty. And so it's at LILBITOFREALTY, Little Bit of Realty.
got it.
And you can also reach me by email at adh@genesislawpa.com.
Fantastic. I'll put that in our description as well.
Perfect.
Alecia, look, it's a pleasure to meet a professional in the probate space, an attorney, as well as a colleague as a real estate agent. We appreciate your time with us today. I know you participate with EXP in our workplace. That's kind of how we
Yeah.
came across each other, and hope to see you again soon.
Hope to see you too. Have a great one. And thanks again for having me.
Thanks so much.